I don't know who them lot were, but that's definitely not the Chelsea side that I've been watching all season. I am so happy after watching that performance. I'm happy for Pochettino. I'm happy for the players to have something to smile about. But most importantly, I am so happy for the travelling away fans making the trip up to Villa Park on a weeknight, bracing the weather and spurring this Chelsea side on to a much needed victory. But people, before we get into all that, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, at the end of the video, if you like the content and you want to see more from myself, please hit the subscribe button right now to celebrate this victory with me. Smash that like button. Let's get into the game. Right, so you can see the starting lineup on screen right now, and the thing that raised the most eyebrows when we saw that lineup was the fact that we were not playing a three at the back. And it's a little bit of a masterstroke, I think, by Pochettino, because he clearly knows that it was sort of leaked in the media, and a lot of people were expecting, myself including, Chelsea to go to a three at the back in this game. And what he might have then done is helped Unai Emery prepare for Chelsea playing a three at the back, set up his team around us playing that formation, and then he sticks with the four. But one man he did not stick with was Thiago Silva. Obviously, there was the thing with Bell Silva tweeting. A lot of people said that maybe a lot of fans, including myself, had misinterpreted what she meant, and actually she was talking about the longevity of her husband Thiago Silva's career rather than talking about the longevity of our manager Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino poured cold water on it, saying Thiago Silva came and spoke to him. There was no problem, but I was waiting for the lineup because I was thinking, well, you say there's no problem, but let's see if there's a problem. Let's see if you stick with Thiago Silva, who you have been playing week in, week out, and he didn't. He twisted tonight. Now, listen, we did play on Sunday. Today's Wednesday night. It could just be down to the fact that Thiago Silva is 142, playing like an 18, 20-year-old, may I add. He's older and he can't do them sort of minutes in the space of 3 days. So there's nothing too far to read into that. But I do think that the formation, the lineup that we saw tonight was pretty good. And Chelsea settled into the first half really well. First 5 minutes, I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, a couple of balls given away, a little bit sloppy. This might be another long, hard night. But I tell you what, once we found our feet, and it didn't take us long, we started getting on the attack and we really took it to Aston Villa. The scoring was opened up within about 10 minutes by Conor Gallagher. The ball is cut back in the box to him from Madueke. At first, it looked like Conor Gallagher was better positioned to take the shot on his left foot. He didn't, but he placed it into the top left-hand corner with a right-footed shot. And Conor Gallagher's been very unlucky this season so far to not get on the score sheet. He's been in advanced positions. He's been, a lot of the time, including tonight at times, our most advanced player. It's weird because we spoke about that starting lineup, didn't we? And obviously the look of the lineup would suggest that maybe we're going to have Palmer on the right, Madueke on the left, and then obviously Jackson through the middle. We didn't have Jackson through the middle. Palmer was through the middle, and Gallagher was very, very far advanced as well. Gallagher gets his goal. As I say, unlucky to not get one already this season. Happy he's opened his account there tonight, and I think that we will see quite a few more goals from Conor Gallagher. And at this point, Conor Gallagher's scored. We've started on top. We're playing a better football, and we look like the more threatening team, but I can't lie, I still couldn't relax into the game because I've seen us go in front before. I've seen us start games lively. In fact, pretty much every game we've lost, maybe barring the Liverpool game the other day, we've probably started as the better team. And I've seen this trend, and I've seen the immaturity of this squad at times sort of set place in matches. We've gone missing at times and we've been pegged back, but we were straight back to it. And that's what we need to do, man. As soon as we get a goal, 0-0 again, bomb, straight away again. And what we did do is we got the ball into another very threatening position. Malo Gusto whipping up that right wing. And Malo Gusto at right back, he's honestly, like, a lot of people pulled up some stats that I had seen where he had a really bad game against Wolves, obviously. But Malo Gusto, we got to give him so much praise, man. What is Malo Gusto? 19, 20 years old? To be able to come over, fit so seamlessly into this team. And listen, let's not pretend he don't have big boots to fill, in that of Reece James. Now, the only good thing for Malo Gusto is Reece James isn't on the bench, and that doesn't mean that, or that does mean, that when Malo Gusto potentially has a bad game, like maybe he did against Wolves, everyone did against Wolves, let's be honest, but when Malo Gusto does have a bad game, obviously the calls for Reece James, nearly knocked my table over there, just going to have a little manoeuvre with this. The calls for Reece James won't be as strong because obviously he ain't there. Never really is there. But Malo Gusto's been playing very, very well. And he whipped that ball in. And who's on the end of it? Nicholas Jackson. Perfectly guided header into the bottom left-hand corner. Sometimes you can watch things Jackson does and you think, you're so good, like you are actually really good. And sometimes he looks absolutely shocking. Me and Josh Aveste were saying, like, we missed him when he was at the African Cup of Nations, We really did miss him. Not so much that I think would have beat Liverpool or Wolves, but we did miss him. And at half-time, I am starting to feel more confident, but I am by no means comfortable because, as I say, Villa will go through the gears in the second half. They've got a squad that know each other. They've got a squad with that maturity of getting the job done. And we've seen them come back in games already this season. But what better way to start the second half than Enzo Fernandez whipping a perfectly placed free kick in to the top left-hand corner. Second free kick was scored this season. It has to go back a little while since we were scoring free kicks. You know, Marcus Alonso sort of days, because we haven't been scoring free kicks in quite a while. We got 2 this season. They were both absolute bangers. Raheem Sterling against Newcastle, goal of the season, way better than Garnacho's against Everton. And obviously the goal tonight by Enzo Fernandez. Now, it's very ironic, isn't it, right? Me and Josh especially, but even myself, we get a few pelters in the comments from time to time. And I've had the positivity police thrown at us, toxic positivity. I've had that a few times because I've said, you know, look, stick by the process, stick by Pochettino. The players are performing. They are young. They will come good, blah, 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 blah. It's all irrelevant unless we're winning games, to be honest. But do you know what? After the Everton and Man United defeats, I got very down, very deflated, and it just affected my general mood, to be honest. Not just to do with, you know, making the podcast in Chelsea, but just, it's just not nice when your team aren't winning, especially when you're a spoiled brat like me and you're used to just winning everything. So when you're not winning, it can get you down. And I've gone through this little period again recently after the results against Liverpool and against Wolves, where I wouldn't say I've been calling for Pochettino's head, because I haven't. I flirted with the idea of Jose Mourinho, but I haven't been saying that Pochettino needs to be sacked. But I have been, for my standards, a little bit scathing on some of the players. I said in a podcast earlier, you can put it up. It got uploaded today. I said in regards to the rumours that Mudryk and Enzo want to leave, if it's true that they do want to leave, I'll be happy to show them the door, because I don't want players here that don't want to play for us. But eating my words, and I'm very happy to be doing so. Maybe I'll be a bit more scathing in future, so it can come back to ironically bite me in the arse and we can get the 3 points. I would rather look like a mug than us lose. Enzo Fernandez whipped in that free kick. He was pretty magic today, Enzo Fernandez. Very good showing from him. And in the 91st minute, they do pull back a consolation goal, a good goal to be honest. Moussa Diaby, balls put back across to him, I think by Matty Cash, left-footed, spinned along the ground, finish. Nothing Petrovic can do about it. And it's funny, really, isn't it? 4 goals in one match, and there was nothing that anyone could do about any of them. I'll tell you what, Emi Martinez, as good as he is, World Cup winner, he's getting nowhere near that Conor Gallagher goal. Jackson's header, no one's getting anywhere near that. The positioning of it, how quickly it's drilled down into the bottom corner. Obviously, mate, the Enzo Fernandez free kick, and it's just clocked in my head they're both Argentinian. So Enzo Fernandez has probably scored a few of them on a training ground against Emi Martinez as well, which is a good one. And Petrovic, gutted for him to not get the clean sheet, because that Diaby goal was a very, very well put shot. But all in all, 3-1 away at Villa Park. I know it's not the league, but in the league, they went about 15 games unbeaten there or something. It is a fortress. Villa are a good team. They're dipping a little bit of recent, but Chelsea are up and down like a fucking yo-yo. And for us to go to Villa Park and win 3-1, I think it's a bit of a statement. I really do. But what did we learn from this game? Well, the first thing I learned is that Petrovic is our man. He didn't have all that much to do tonight, you know, but his judgment was really, really good. There was one little mix-up towards the end with him and Gusto. It happens. I don't know whose fault it was. Not really bothered. But I do think that Petrovic fills me with such confidence in comparison to Robert Sanchez. And I wasn't even a massive Robert Sanchez hater, you know. I was saying that because of Sanchez's mistakes, a lot of the good work he does is going under the radar. But my God, Petrovic, where have we found him from? Did anyone know Petrovic? Did you lot know Petrovic? Every now and again, there'd be someone in the comments that goes, wait till you see Petrovic. But even I'm not sure I believe that guy in the comments that he'd even seen him, or he's just banking, gambling on it. If I say it and it pays off, I'll come up trumps. But if it was you, let me know in the comments, because there was one guy in my comments that was always shouting out for Petrovic. He's a great keeper, man. I think we can build around him. I'd love to see him as our number 1 keeper going forward. My God, think about the amount. Forget Robert Sanchez, because he's actually all right and he'd be a good backup. Think about the amount of money we spent on that absolute... No, not doing that. Think about the amount of money we spent on Kepa. It was a lot of money. And I don't know how much we spent on Petrovic, but nowhere near as much on Kepa. And my God, Kepa could not Velcro up Petrovic's gloves. He couldn't lace his boots. He couldn't cook his dinner. He couldn't do anything. What else did we learn? I think we learned that Nicholas Jackson's better as a winger. I think he's pretty good as a winger, you know. I think that also, when he gets the opportunities and goes through on goal as a winger, especially like we saw with a header, I don't know whether it's the pressure being off him or something, and the expectancy of him being the man to score our goals is lowered. He actually looks pretty composed, a lot more composed than he did when he was starting through the middle. So he did drift over through the middle as the game went on, substitutes came on and whatnot. But yeah, Jackson as a winger, I think is a better option. Another thing that I think is a better option as a winger is Madueke over Raheem Sterling for the minute. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon like a lot of people do about Raheem Sterling. I think Raheem Sterling's a good player for us. I think he's been a good player this season. But I do think that Madueke had a really good game tonight. He did have a really good game tonight. And I spoke about the fact that he drives at players, runs at players. And along our front line, we don't really have players like that all that much. Sterling does it, but not that much. He was doing it at the start of the season. It looked like Pochettino had got in his ear and said, Sturbo, just do you, mate. Just do you. Drive at them players. Roll back the years to the Brendan Rodgers Sterling at Liverpool and just do a bit of that and I'll love you for it. But as games have gone on, Sterling hasn't done it as often. His form's been up and down. Madueke, when he does get the chance, and when he's matched up well positionally as well, you know, when he's got a good left back or wing back to run at, he does play very well doing that. He was driving at players tonight, taking players out of the game, and that's so important for us. Obviously, Aston Villa weren't playing a low block, but the smaller teams in the Premier League know that if you come to Stamford Bridge or even at your home ground, if you play a low block against Chelsea, you've got a good chance of being able to break them down, catch them on the counter because we're not that clinical in front of goal. And one of the things about playing a low block is you need a player like Enzo to play like he played today and be able to thread balls through. But you also need guys that can take men out of the game. You know, we wouldn't have scored half the goals that we scored, you know, when Eden Hazard was at the club, if it hadn't been for him taking the players out of the game. It doesn't even need to have directly been Hazard that was scoring the goals, but he took so many players out of the game that it opens up spaces on the field for other players, and I'm very happy that we have got a player like Madueke who can do that. Now, the last thing that we learned is that Benoit Badiashile and Axel Disasi, if we can gain and keep going with a little bit of consistency off tonight's performance, are a very good centre-back pairing. Thiago Silva, do you know what? Thiago Silva doesn't always look great in a two. He has had games this season when certain attributes of his game haven't been tested so much. Maybe the balls in behind haven't been as often, and he's looked really good in them games. Thiago Silva's a great player, man. I love Thiago Silva. Maybe, just maybe, going forward, a Benoit Badiashile and an Axel Disasi, maybe an Axel Disasi and a Levi Colwell. I spoke before about why can't, you know, Benoit Badiashile and Levi Colwell play there together, both left-footed, but, you know, we've had plenty of sort of double right-footed centre-back pairings. So, yeah, maybe that's the future. Well, we know it's the future because Thiago Silva's very old, and at some point we've got to move on from him. But, yeah, I thought they looked good tonight. I did think they looked very good, the two of them. And it was about time, let's be honest, because, you know, they came in for decent money. By Chelsea standards, not billions, not loads of money, but decent money. They needed to show something good. They did. They've got that partnership from the Monaco days already. What is concerning for me is Benoit Badiashile went off late on, and I think it looked like he went off with an injury. So we'll have to stick a pin in that one, come back to it, see what happens with it. We do know we're now facing Leeds in the next round, and the winner of that will obviously get through to the quarterfinals. Mate, listen, we've got a very good chance of getting through against Leeds. They're flying high in the Championship at the minute, but it's Leeds, you know what I mean? We've got to be beating Leeds, haven't we? Oh, famous last words, eh? The amount of times I've said that. Even on my videos, right, I normally call them the starting 11 to beat X, Y, and Z. Today, it was just the starting 11 to face Aston Villa because I was so not confident in this game. Maybe that tells you don't listen to my predictions because the form book goes against me. The predictions go against me. I didn't think we were going to win today. We did. We battered Aston Villa. 3-1 probably flattered them because we were dominant all match. And do you know what? Even in the 0-0 draw, we were pretty dominant against them. So fancy our chances against Aston Villa at Villa Park when we go there in the league after that. Look, next game is the most important. Let's forget about Leeds because that could be a while off. The next game is the most important. We've got a hard run of fixtures now. Our next 3 games are so vital. We got the Monday night football against Crystal Palace. Then we got the trip to the Etihad facing Man City. And then the big one, the League Cup final, which myself, Josh Aveste, Brian Craig, the rest of the boys will be live on the kickoff for. What I want to see now and what I've wanted to see all season, all last season, is consistency. Please, 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 can we build off the back of this? Not just think, oh God, that was good. We've got a bit of fan pressure off our back. And there is still fan pressure, you know. You see the supporters in the ground, like I was mentioning them being very loud. And in the second half, the chants sort of started to change because the vibe was going better, a bit more positivity. But my God, if I heard Roman Abramovich's name once tonight, I heard it 500 times because the fans were relentlessly cheering for Roman, cheering for Super Frankie Lampard. Yeah, and I'm not saying that's negative, but the atmosphere sort of changed as we really seized the opportunity and took control of the game. Against Crystal Palace, again, away. I hope every single away fan that went tonight goes to the Palace game, because they did a lot of good tonight, and the fans can really walk away with their heads held high. I'm so happy for the fans that travelled that we did get a win. Crystal Palace, we got to go there and get a win now. We just got to do it. We just need to be getting results now, and and just not being soft. I know the age of our squad's very young, but we can't be soft now. We've got to roll our sleeves up, go to Crystal Palace, go, right, if we can turn over Aston Villa, no matter how good Crystal Palace looked against us in that game, and they are threatening, they do have good players, we've got to go there, turn them over, go into that Man City game with a bit of confidence, because at the minute, it feels good. It really does feel good. But I still can't say that I'm optimistic that we aren't going to get turned over in this League Cup final. So I want to see a bit of consistency. If we do see it, it'll be the first time we have seen it this season. So let's build on this. Let's put our trust in Pochettino again. And let's just breathe and smile after a performance like that tonight. People, I want to know what you thought of the game. My being, actually, man of the match. Madueke was very good, It's got to be Enzo Fernandez, hasn't it? I'm going Enzo Fernandez for my man of the match. Kept the game ticking over well. Good performance. Great goal. Very happy for Enzo. And did you see what he did? Took the Chelsea shirt off, pointing to the badge, holding it up to the fans. And maybe that's his way of saying, don't listen to the rumours around me. I'm here, I'm settled, I'm here to stay, and I'm enjoying myself. So that's very good. Happy with that. Guys, let me know your lots of opinions on the game tonight. What did you think of Chelsea's performance? Who would you have had as your man of the match? And have we now turned a corner? Is it way too soon to say that? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, I will remind you, smash the like button, because it really helps me out. I'll see you all in the next one.